to strip down news. Oh, sorry. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, you guys. A little bit of rush today. Sorry, you guys. Welcome to News Strip Down, where I dig through the news and weed through all the nonsense so you guys don't have to. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's probably just BS, anyways. So today is April 1st. Made it to another month, you guys. 2026. It's minus 7 degrees Celsius here in Canada, minus 19.4 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. Oh, weather's kind of pretty much stabilized around that 7 degrees. Stuff's melting, even though we're still in the minuses here, but the sun's nice and warm. It's still melting the snow. So let's get into the news. Over to the UK. Some serious developments are coming out of the UK with a captain of a Royal Navy nuclear submarine reportedly stepped back from his role after being investigated over his relationship with a member of parliament, Joni Reid. Her husband was recently arrested on suspicion for spying for China. And reports about flirtatious texts between the MP and the naval captain. Sources are saying that the probe was done for due diligence to check for any potential blackmail risk. Uh, the captain's name, it's been retracted. I can't find this guy's name anywhere. So if you guys are in the UK and you can find this guy's name for me, please leave in the comments for me so I can look into this guy a little bit more. And this Navy captain, he hasn't left the Navy, but he has stepped down for personal reasons. So yeah, apparently he's been having some texting back and forth, some extra marital affairs, I guess, is what he's kind of resigning from right now. But yeah, that's interesting. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then over to China. China humanoid robotics race has entered a new phase as Li Zhu Robotics and Dongfang Precision have teamed up on an automated factory that can build a humanoid robot every 30 minutes as of March 29th. The factory is to be China's first factory capable of 10,000 humanoid robots annually. This is a major shift from the small scale enterprise experimentation to an industrial level of manufacturing. But that 10K number, it doesn't add up when you do the numbers together. So half hours in a day. Okay, so there's 24 hours in a day. So there's 48 30 minutes in a day, right? Okay, so times that by 365. The number's closer to 20,000 robots annually. So if I do the math, that's 17,520 robots annually if they're saying the numbers that they're saying. So they're really underselling themselves right now is what they're doing. I don't know why they'd say only 10,000 robots when it's closer to 20,000 robots. But getting a little scary. Uh, Producing a robot every 30 minutes. I don't know. This world is gonna. It's getting scary. I don't know what to say about that. I think it'll be like a war between robots and humans, and there already is people getting angry dealing with, like, some restaurants have like humanoid robots as like waiters and waitresses. But in China they have a kind of a same setup, but handicapped people are operating the robots so they can still make some form of income without having to rely on the federal government to kind of keep them going, because obviously they can't work. But yeah, you go on YouTube, you can see people fighting with some of these robots, just being irritated by them. And yeah, to imagine seeing 10,000 of these robots walking down the street. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hands thrown for sure. Then over to Canada. Manitoba and Saskatchewan communities are working on to resolve a cross-border healthcare issues. This is about allowing people to use hospitals that are closest to and not necessarily from the province that they are from. Manitoba should be talking to Ontario about this as well. And I don't know why we Canada hasn't been doing this already. Like, yes, we have healthcare across the board. Well, except for Quebec, that's kind of its own little thing. But we have Canada-wide healthcare. But say, like, if I live on a border between Manitoba and Saskatchewan, why would I drive 6 hours to a Saskatoon hospital when I could drive 45 minutes to a hospital in Manitoba? So now it's trying to level out the playing field. Like, how can we sort this out? But this should have been sorted out years ago. Because, like, say if I'm traveling through Canada, I get hurt in Ontario. It's a little bit more difficult to get more proper health care. You kind of get pushed off to the side. Ontarians first, and then anybody else after that. So, should be able to we should have been talking about how we could try and level out the playing field when it comes to healthcare in between the provinces. Like, even so, me from being from Manitoba, say if I hurt myself in Alberta, it's not the same thing. Yes, there is international, or our healthcare is Canada wide, but to a point. So we do need to sit down and start discussing this as a country to figure out healthcare when it comes to between other provinces using other provinces' healthcare. I really don't see any problem with it because really it comes down to the federal government paying into these funds in the first place. Uh, hey, Image, how's it going? Oh, and then over to Africa, Congo, which supplies about 70% of the world's cobalt, imposed export quotas last year. The Republic of Congo's mining regulator said miners must use all of its unfulfilled fourth quarter exports the 2025 fourth quarter exports by the end of April. So April ends on the 30th here. They have to use up this quota, or their quotas are going to be forfeited and reallocated to a strategic reserve for the Congo. And way cobalt is going right now, yeah, that's a big, a lot of people are wanting this right now, especially when it's coming to like electric vehicles. So I don't know. I don't know why countries aren't taking their quota. Like, they have a good supply of it, and apparently this cobalt supply in Africa is probably by far one of the highest grades of cobalt you can get, like, worldwide. And then to be supplying 70% of the world market, I don't know why people are just sitting there letting it sit on the shelf right now. Get it out of Africa, out of the Congo as quickly as you can. And there should be no issues, when it comes to like conflicts of getting this stuff out. The shipping routes to get that out are free and clear. So get it out there, get it going. I'll get to your question in a minute, okay? I'll finish up the news, and if I have some time, I'll get to your question, okay? And then over to Iraq. Iraq is beginning oil exports through its newly opened Syrian border crossing. The first convoy of 100 oil tankers departed through there in the newly inaugurated border crossing. The Iraqi oil then will be shipped through global markets using the Mediterranean Sea. So Iraq's already trying to figure out how to get oil out to market there. It's still going to be a while before we even see, a price fluctuation. We're not going to see prices anytime here soon. Um, Once we do start getting oil reserves up and going, I think it'll probably be about a 3 week delay before we actually start seeing our fuel costs come down. And hopefully by that time, we won't see that cost affecting our food costs. So we'll see what happens with that. And then over to South Korea. South Korea is releasing 20 million barrels of Middle Eastern crude oil from its strategic reserves to local refineries under a swap arrangement that would expect to help sustain the supply till the end of June. So that's going to help a little bit across the board for some countries, but uh, South Korea is still waiting for oil shipments from the Americas, Africa, and Central Asia, as that process is going to take several weeks before from purchase to delivery. So again, there's still going to be a wait on oil shipments and oil supplies once everything gets up and going again. But it seems like other countries are starting to tap into their strategic reserves. And I really don't know why. There's oil in other places that we can be getting from. And I don't know why all the oil from the Strait of Hormuz is really affecting us that badly. Like here in Canada, we could just be start bumping up our oil production. The same with the United States. And like, what are they doing with Venezuela? There's so much oil there. Start utilizing the Venezuelan oil there, Trump. You know, instead of watching the fuel costs across the United States skyrocket. And then over to Alberta news. Alberta separatists say they already have collected more than 178,000 signatures to trigger a referendum on the province's separation from Canada. With a population of 5 million people, the 700 or 178,000 votes is only 3.5%. 3.5% of the population. Like, will the referendum happen? Possibly. Will anything actually happen with it? Probably not. Like, I don't know why these separatists are saying this right now. And then at the end of the day, they're still gonna have to deal with the natives here. You know, you got to remember that it's not your land, and you guys are probably gonna have to deal with lawsuits against them if you did separate. And then you have to deal with land rights and oil rights. So I don't see Alberta separating anytime soon. To tell you the truth, this just seems like a giant psyop for Albertans to make them look the opposite direction for some reason, and that reason I don't know why. But just this whole separatist nonsense is starting to pick up, but I don't see any real grip of this separate Alberta separating from Canada. And then there was some talks about Quebec separating from Canada again. Trust me, they don't have the votes. With the newer generation growing up across Canada or in Quebec, they have a totally different view about Canada. It's all the old guard and all the old farts that want to separate from Canada. You know, the ones who are pro Quebec, pro French, like screw the English. We don't want English here. We don't even want to read English. We don't even want to see English on our signs, people. And with the younger generation growing up in Quebec, they have a totally different view of this. The younger generation wants to start seeing English on their signs. It doesn't matter if it's at the bottom of the French or whatever, or even if it's smaller, and it would also help with tourism too. A lot of tourists. Quebec City has a lot of major tourism running through there, and all the signs are in French. Well, how does that help with tourism? Half the people driving around don't know where they're going. And then today, you guys, I'm going live for this. The Artemis 2 mission is about to start today. It'll be at 5:24 p.m. Central Time. This mission around the moon and back, testing systems along the way. This trip should take 10 days from launch to splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego, California, with the new U.S. Navy and Orion recovery team to meet the crew and spacecraft. And the crew is expected to travel farther than any other human outside of the Earth's atmosphere in history. So we're going to break a couple records here. It's going to be the farthest distance for any human to ever travel. It'll be the first woman to ever go around the moon, the first African American, first black person to go around the moon, and the first Canadian. So there's a couple records that are going to happen, well, possibly happen today. If you guys didn't notice, if you go into I have a preloaded thing for the space launch already. The picture is of the crew from Challenger. Yeah, yeah. Hope you guys get that. Boom, boom. That's just my theory on what's gonna happen here. I think everything just got rushed here all of a sudden. So that's pretty much it for the news today, you guys. If you like the news like this, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 Central Time. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's probably just BS anyways. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's end everything off on things that happened today in history. April 1st, 1948, the Big Bang Theory was proposed in a scientific journal by American cosmetologists. Yeah, there was three of them. I didn't want to name all their names. And then April 1st, 1976, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs founded Apple Computers out of their garage. 1976. And April 1st, 2001, the Netherlands became the first country to allow same-sex marriages. Wow, 2001. That's interesting. I knew a couple lesbians back then that I worked with. Yeah, I remember them talking to moving to Edmonton because it was a little bit more easier to integrate yourself as a same-sex couple. And then April 1st, 1992, the NHL began its first strike in 75 years of NHL history. Yeah, their first strike. And April 1st, 2017, Bob Dylan receives a Nobel Prize for his literature. Bob Dylan. Interesting. I didn't even know he got a Nobel Prize. And famous birthdays. April Fool's birthdays today. 1932, April 1st, Debbie Reynolds, famous actress and singer, probably famously known for Dancing in the Rain. And April 1st, 1933, Stan Weston, had the original concept for the original G.I. Joe doll with the real kung fu grip. He was 84 when he passed in 2017, and Debbie Reynolds also passed at 84. And April 1st, 1940, Annie Nightingale, she was the first female BBC radio host, and she passed just recently, 2024, at the age of 83. And yeah, April 1st. Yay. Well, speaking of hell, April Fool. Here's an April Fool for you birthday. Yeah, April 1st, 1995. Yeah, that April Fool is Logan Paul. Yeah, famous YouTuber and influencer. Yeah, that's it for birthdays today, you guys. That's it for the news. How did I do for time? Under That's sweet. 18 minutes. 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that's just BS. And I can get back into some of these comments here. Sincerely, at the moment, it doesn't have plans to come and live in Canada, but if you, who know, you suggest to go to... Oh, man. Trying to find work in Canada is hard enough as it is for a Canadian. I'm currently right now looking for work, and it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. Um, Co-ops are pretty good to get into. They have good pensions, good healthcare system. They pay for medical and all that other stuff. They have good pension plans. They pay you crap, but the pensions and the benefits outweigh the what they pay you. Deadly. And then hey 2-4. And 2-4's birthday, your dad's birthday in 1912. His dad was an April Fool as well. Yeah, should go check out his check out the cemetery if you have a chance there, Pat, if he's close to you. Go to Fort Mac. That reminds me of that TV show, Just Passing Through. You guys, that's a pretty good show. You can only watch it on YouTube, though. It's called Just Passing Through. It's about two guys from Prince Edward Island moving to Alberta. The first episode is called Alberta Bound, when they think they're going to move from the Maritimes to Alberta and get that Alberta money and send it all back home and get all their families rich stuff. Passed in 95, eh? Damn, man. Well, I'm gonna be back later, you guys. I already have a show pre-planned for the space launch. That's at 5:15, so roughly about an hour, just a little less than an hour from right now. I'm gonna be live streaming the Artemis 2 launch. So if you guys want to come in, hang out in the chat, and watch the space launch and just talk some BS, I'll be back at 5:15. I might start a little bit earlier, but as far as I know, when I did the check, I have a 2 hour window before launch. So roughly right now, it'd be about an hour and 40 minutes before we do this launch. But let's see what happens. Yeah, you think there'll be an anomaly, or do you think they're gonna make it out of atmosphere, or do you even does anyone even think they're gonna make it around the moon, or are they gonna have to turn around before that? Actually, that's not gonna make sense. They're gonna have to go on the moon no matter what, because they won't have enough like momentum to come back just to turn around and come back. But we'll see what happens. I'll be back and I'll talk to you guys later. And I'll be back for tomorrow's show. News stripped down, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm from Manitoba, Canada. But if you guys want to pop in later, please pop in. Let's chat. Let's see. Let's watch that space shuttle blow up together, okay? Okay, but I'm out of here, and I'll. You guys don't pop in later. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, peace out. Oh.